And many senior one. Man, some great coverage from the guys in the TV booth as they brought the Garmin, stuck it on top of Carson Mumford's head. That video, the mile-per-hour stuff, he was 27 miles an hour in the 10 Commandments. I've always wondered how fast they're going. 27 miles per hour, about 30% of the way into that. And I wanted to see the whole thing because I was just curious the speeds they reached. 27 in the air jumping.
In the jumps.
Yeah.
Jeez. Yeah, you know, every time we post this Garmin footage, whether it be here at Loretta's or we do it from the Lucas Oil Pro Motocross, those things have a little bit wider lens, so it makes the side of the screen go by fast. So we are constantly getting accused of speeding the footage up. Constantly. We posted a couple 125 videos from the All-Star race at Washougal, and then people say, give these guys credit. Don't speed the footage up. Don't manipulate the footage. Just play it naturally. We are. I know it doesn't seem like they could possibly be going as fast as it looks, but that's how fast they actually go.
Well, I tell you what, who just went flying off the start, the number 99 of Ryder DeFrancisco. He was absolutely incredibly fast off the gate. He was on the far inside, immediately got up off the seat, just like Carson Mumford. There's something going on there. They're sharing some secrets there because they look eerily similar in their two hole shots. But look who's coming at him. The KTM rider right behind him is that Braswell. Tripling into the 10 Commandments. There goes Ryder with his triple. And yellow flags are out as one rider goes tumbling to the ground. In the 10 Commandments, he was top 5. I believe the 22 is Caden Braswell on the KTM, trying to tag along with the number 99 of Ryder DeFrancisco. So the number 99 kind of still trying to figure out the race lines. Remember, we just prepped this entire racetrack. So they're really trying to lay in, cut in the race lines. That is the 22 of Caden Braswell. Braswell going to need some help here. He's a couple of points back there, Rodney Tomlin, as you sit down as close as possible to me here.
Can I get on the other side of you if I sit this close?
You can sit wherever you want, man.
All right, man. Thanks a lot. Yeah, you're right. Absolutely about that second place ride there. He actually coming in, Braswell, a Moto 1 win. And then an 11th place finish in Moto number 2, a heartbreaker there for him. As Ryder D, I think at one time was even leading in that first Moto, and he went down and came back to a 7th place finish and a 7-1, believe it or not, puts us in command of the overall national championship. Braswell coming in with a, well, now it says 10-2-2. But regardless, Braswell is second right now. Wyatt Matson in the number 3 spot. Preston base plug in the number 4 spot. Kyle Smith is 5th, opening up. Gavin Towers, who is also sitting pretty and a possible championship with 9 points heading into this, is 6th right now. Revan Gordon in 7th. Dakota Aldridge in 8th aboard the 89. The 39 of Benjamin Garabit's 9th. Adler Caudle now rounds out your top 10.
So the way these points, Rodney, were shaking down, it's a juggernaut up front. We got a pair of 8s, a pair of 9s, and a pair of 12s. They're all tied for 1st and 3rd. We're going to sort it all out right here. Caden Braswell just wants to steal a Moto win from Ryder DeFrancisco.
Well, as we look at the rest of the field that are in contention right now, obviously Ryder with the lead has the advantage, but he also has an advantage another way in the fact that the riders that are in contention are a few positions back, and they have some ground to make up before they even come close to even challenging him at this point. So the longer this Moto wears on, the better it is for Ryder DeFrancisco.
So again, we're cutting in the laps now, cutting in the racetrack. We just plowed this whole thing up. So Ryder, in my opinion, that first lap, he was just trying to lay in some lines, not go too crazy. You can throw this thing away on a freshly prepped racetrack, Megawatt.
In a heartbeat. It's been done many, many times. You know, a guy gets a good start, the track's fresh, sticks it into a corner, and guess what? 11th place.
Yeah, he's a smart kid, so he's going to go out there. I guarantee you laps 2 and 3 are going to get faster and faster and faster.
We can see right there, he just avoided the slick stuff on that jump face. He's finding that fringe. I mean, that's how this kid is. But you know that within 2 laps, the race line will be cut in with all these little bikes out there.
Absolutely. And he's got Australia on his mind as well. A couple of weeks from now, he's going to head on over and represent America. So I don't think I could think of a better rider to do that for us.
That's right. That's our guy.
So he's going to do some winning here at the ranch.
Look at that. Already got the gear on, the red, white, and blue gear, bro.
Those colors don't run. I'm sure he was shooting machine guns the other day.
Uncle Ryder doing it for Uncle Sam. Love it. Was he shooting some machine guns?
I made that up.
Oh.
Yeah, totally made that up.
I was going to say his stock went up.
Yeah, I'm just saying,
higher,
like that's how American he is.
He is. That's right. Absolutely.
He probably did shoot him. Lays into that left, and good Lord, the form there. Ryder D, stars and bars, looking good. Braswell second, Matson third, Base Fluke fourth, Gavin Towers fifth, Revin Gordon sixth, Dakota Ulrich seventh, Caudle, Jorgensen, and Garib round out your top 10 megawatt.
Kevin, you said, my goodness, on that form. I got to tell you, several of these schoolboy kids, some of these mini senior kids, some of these big wheel kids, let me tell you, I cannot believe the textbook form I'm seeing. I can't believe perfect posture, legs up out in front, you know, elbows out, that kind of stuff. These guys, perfect form. And it's for you to say that, man, I've seen it many times this weekend. That's an awesome thing to point out.
And some kids just have it. Like, he is flashy rider, and he's not flashy because he's trying to be flashy. It's just his riding style lends itself to looking really cool. Every time if you were to freeze the frame on any point on a jump or a turn, kid just has style for days. It's natural.
No question. Any picture, anywhere. And you know what? The lot can be said, the same can be said for a lot of these young kids because they're down at MTF, they're down at SoMX, they're down at South of Border, whatever. So they're practicing more than a lot of our previous generations. They're working on it. And all of that form lends to what we've seen to this weekend. Perfect laps. Few mistakes.
You got it. Bummer for, it looks like Nicholas Romano. I believe he went down in the 10 Commandments. He was about top 3 or 4, and the frame shut down. It just froze up, and he was upside down in the 10 Commandments. But it looks like he's back up on the motorcycle. And Nick has just had a rough go. It's not the Nick Romano we've been accustomed to seeing. We're used to seeing the New York rider winning races.
And you know what, been the story with several favorites this year. You know, several riders, a little more was expected out of them than delivered. And, you know, it's one of those things about the ranch. We talk about the flip-flop. We talk about getting a whole shot and then the next moto starting 28th. You know, we've seen that a million times this week. But, you know, so many of these riders, if that break doesn't happen early in the game or early in the week or early in the moto, well, then it's, you know.
It just puts you behind the 8 ball. You got a bad start, now you got a bad gate pick.
That is it.
And then it's just hard.
Kevin, it just snowballs.
Yep.
It just snowballs.
Well, lap 3 in the history books now as Caden Braswell popped a 2:04, which nearly matched the fastest lap time of DeFrancesco on lap 2, and then DeFrancesco actually leading it, turned a 2:03 last time around, so he keeps raising the bar, and Braswell's got him in chase. The gap there has remained about 4 seconds basically since that first lap of racing. So as far as this third moto goes, Ryder D is riding somewhat uncontested. We still got Wyatt Matson in the number 3 spot, Base Plug in 4th, Gavin Towers holding steady back in the number 5 position. And one thing that I've been watching a lot, we see that Ryder D's got this 711. He's been remaining at the top of the overall results board. But if you watch that category, every time somebody checks in, it changes almost every time.
Thank goodness we had this computer. Like, you did it back in the day when there was nothing.
Exactly.
I mean, woo, that's tough to calculate all this stuff. You're up here scratching away, and Wes Kane can't add, so he was no help to you.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I'm thinking back now. I remember having to calculate every bit of that from the tower and then announce that down to either Tim or Irv, and we'd throw it back and forth from the tower and hope that we were right.
You were pitting champions like,
well,
I didn't do so well
champion.
in high school, but they're going to go with what I'm saying here.
Exactly.
Thousands of dollars on the line based on my D- in beginner geometry, which has nothing to do with addition or subtraction. Up and over the tunnel jump we go with number 99, Ryder DeFrancesco. That's 4 laps in the book. Braswell started off right behind him. Ryder D got that Bell Helmet's whole shot. Man, he looked just like Carson Mumford. Absolutely the same style, way on the inside. He was 10 feet out of the gate and already standing on the pegs, standing up off the seat.
Well, you got to find that smoothness, and that's the only way you're going to do it. The shocks and everything you got going on there, the suspension only works so much, so you got to use that body. And these kids, they learn it. We talk about, what was it yesterday, I think, in one of the 50cc classes, and even the day, the one kid stood up the entire way, never, ever sat down whatsoever.
Yeah, Brayton Craiglow is one of those kids. And, hey, like there's some strategy in going into picking your gate. Like they didn't know exactly how this track prep was going to work. If they come in and just swing wide and drop that plow like a foot deeper in front of you, you're kind of at the mercy of how this all plays out, how the track prep works out. And Ryder D rolled the dice on the inside, and it worked out.
There's been a lot of hole shots coming from that extreme inside, and actually a few hole shots coming from the outside.
Guess who
also.
does not like the inside? Hates it. One of the all-time great starters. We had him up here. Mike Alessi says, no way I'm starting from the inside. Always on the doghouse. And I've seen more hole shots here from this starting line on the inside, which I thought was interesting.
Let me tell you, when it goes bad on the inside, it goes
real bad. Yeah, and I guess if you don't have confidence in what you're able to do, then maybe you don't need to be on the inside.
You're 100% right. At an amateur level, even a vet level, I might not have got a good finish, but I got a good start. But you know what? Never want to take my chances on that extreme inside just for that reason.
No, I would start on the very outside, purposely stand up the gate so that I would never be involved in a first turn crash because I was such a sissy. I'll be like, oh, man, stood that gate up again. I was really trying to get a good start. My dad's like, really? You stalled the bike. You had the gas off. You didn't even have your helmet on. And you say you were ready to go. Yeah, sure thing, Kev. Just let one of your faster brothers use your bike today. You suck.
It's amazing that your dad even had a desire for motocross after
dealing with me.
Yeah, exactly.
I took the fun right out of it because he had two much stronger sons than I was. My older brother was a Team Green rider, the first generation of them, and my little brother did some. Yeah, I was awful.
Well,
embarrassing.
I guess that was the saving grace for your dad.
And I'll tell you this: if they ever needed a good fresh motorcycle, my suspension has never seen it's never been more than 2 inches or used. Like the bottom stroke of my suspension never got touched. The engine oil never got heated up. All I did was foul plugs. So you put a fresh plug in my bike, you got a race winner.
It's sad but true, right?
Oh, that's why he immediately realized you cannot race anymore. Get on the microphone, talk about how good your brother is here at Bremen Race Park. You are now the announcer at 15. True story, 1989. I'm doing riders meetings at age 15, telling you guys what's going to happen if you cheat on my racetrack. And they're like, really? What are you going to do, you nerd? You're not going to do anything. And I didn't. I was scared to death of plus 40 riders.
Can you imagine 15-year-old?
Come here. Come see me down here. I'm the announcer. Come see me in that vet class. Johnny Big Arms, I need to talk to you.
Mercy. Well, 5 laps down on this one now as we check. We have about 8.5 minutes in the Moto and another championship. What will this number 5 at the ranch for Ryder D?
I think more than that, right?
I think more than 5, isn't it? Oh, okay.
Only 4.
Right. Yeah, and there's another thing, another topic to bring up. I was talking with Mike Alessi when he was here the other day. He said, I was looking through the Hall of Fame and I was looking at Ryder D's name, and he said, I can't believe he's only got 4 championships. He says, you would think he would have more by now just because of...
Well, look at the kids who are winning in front of him. A guy named Jet Reynolds probably took about several of those whenever they were in those same classes. I can't think of too many other guys that would snatch him away from him all the way from the PWs to where he sits on his Kawasaki right now. Yeah, not too many guys have beat him heads up his age. Can you think of any?
Yeah, and another thing to point out is Ryder D's got several years left here at the ranch before he actually makes that step into the big ranks anyway. So I imagine there's probably plenty more on the horizon for him.
There's going to be more notches on the belt by the time he's done, man. I will guarantee you that. And I guess Mike Alessi's going to look at things a little differently than the rest of us.
Right.
For sure.
I guess he was feeling threatened by Ryder D.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So it looks like Jet Reynolds has snagged some. For him to even fight through and claw some titles away from Jet Reynolds, Jet took a title away from him last year with 112 Moto score. So Jason Wygant doing some research here. So that's where some of those titles have gone into Jet Reynolds' pocket.
Jason Wygant, our human Google up here in the tower.
He is our Brett Smith.
That's only because we do not have any connection to the outside world whatsoever here, so I got to use the program.
Yeah, any connection that we have, everything's piping out of here on RacerTV.com, so we can't get anything in.
I think it's worth it because everybody at home's getting a great shot of this racetrack. This never happened like in the 80s and 90s. You had no idea what this place was about. You had no idea who you were racing because you didn't know the guys from the West Coast, the East Coast, Florida. It was just an enigma. You would come here and just your mouth would drop. You're like, holy cow, this place is crazy.
Brad Jones and I had to explain to a couple of our Racer TV cameramen last night about the invention of 1-900 INF Moto.
Oh, yeah, 1-800 Moto.
About reading 3 months later about the U.S. Grand Prix at Mid-Ohio, at
Hey, I called my mom from right down there on Vendor Row on the 1-800 collect bank of phones after my brother
go,
got
man.
like a 7th place finish. There's like 84 people saying, hurry up, dude. We got to make phone calls too. 1-800-COLLECT sponsor Jeremy.
Yep.
They brought a bank of phones down here so we could all
Yep.
call everybody and tell. There was a bank of payphone. I remember.
Right.
That's how you sent information
right.
back home. We had carrier pigeons before that.
Exactly, man. And these guys are laughing. You know, we're talking about research and using that magazine, that program.
We
right
sound
now.
so old. What are you talking about?
A payphone?
Payphones?
What's a payphone?
He's like, we've studied them, but I've never actually seen one.
Right?
You
It's
know?
nuts.
I showed my kids a rotary dial phone once, and they looked at me and said, "What's that?"
Touch it. You just touch the number.
You just push your finger in the hole there.
Hey, I
Watch them
keep
put
one
a
hanging
cassette
in the
or a video
basement.
game in something. They're like, well, how do you? They're trying to rub on it and just look at it real hard. Like, does it turn on? What do you
Yeah,
do?
you give
with
them a
it?
cassette tape. Oh, is this an MP3 player, Dad?
Is that a Walkman?
Wow,
All the while, Ryder D, 3 seconds.
Yeah.
Caden Braswell just not letting him go.
He's not giving up. 3.8. He's under that 4-second mark now. He's been just over the 4 seconds, almost 5 seconds at one point. They've opened up a near 16-second lead over Wyatt Matson back in the number 3 spot, and really not a lot of changes going on back there behind him with Pace Plug and Ford still. Tower still rounding out the top 5.
That same left-hander that Ryder D just completed, he goes so fast, so hard. He was so low that he G'd out and it popped him and straightened him right up. That's the same turn that just caught my attention about 5 minutes ago. We were talking about
Yeah.
it. That's unbelievable how low they get in that left-hander.
It's hard to believe how deep that anthill's coming through there. Did you see how deep that
They
rut was?
chewed that thing to pieces.
You mentioned Matson there a minute ago. I just found out he picked up a full-blown pit bike ride from the guys at VMX. They're sending him home with a complete super pit bike from the guys out there in the Midwest VMX Moto. They got him a full ride now, so he's officially sponsored for his pit bikes.
Nice.
Absolutely, full ride.
Dreams come true here.
How do
Everything
you
happens
get a
at the
pit
ranch.
A pit vehicle.
Pit bike ride.
I asked him the same thing. I said, and exactly what did he do for this?
You don't worry about it.
He's just cool. He's a cool kid.
You don't worry about
You know
it.
what? That was the answer. That's our guy, they said.
Oh, there you go.
Like
That's
it.
their guy.
Nicholas Romano continues to try to climb up in there. Where is he at here? I see him in the championship. Romano in 30th. Good Lord, Nicholas.
Wow,
But he's still good enough for those early moto scores. 11, 3, 30 for 44 points for Nicholas Romano. Just not his day.
Well, Miles Gilmore not having the best of days either. He went 1:11, now running 35th here in Moto number 3.
They need to talk to our 50cc riders about consistency because those guys have it figured out at age 6. The last
Oddly,
350
you're right.
classes, your winner went 1-1-1 in all 3 of the last 350 classes we announced out here. I don't know that I've ever seen that happen.
It's a rarity, that's for sure. Wow, Dakota Aldridge back in 20th overall right now with a 3:16.38. That's another name we would expect to see solid in the top 10. One of those wild and crazy years here at Loretta Lynn's that is producing some interesting and exciting racing, and certainly maybe not what you expected whenever you rolled through the gate. And if you do get what you expected, there was excitement to get what you wanted. You know what I'm saying?
10-4.
Ryder D after 8. We are 2 minutes and 40 seconds away, so I would think we're somewhere in the neighborhood of a white flag coming out as the 2-lap board is out. White flag will come out here in just a moment.
So Brian Spencer going to head down and do our podiums for us here. That'll be interesting. If somebody can point him to the podium, get him there, walk him there. He'll have the stick. He'll fill your face. I'm filling the face of Ryder D. Francisco. So Ryder D, 7-1-1 moto scores. 8/100ths of a second, guys. That's all the lead is for Ryder D. So there is Caden Braswell, who has gotten around Ryder D. Francisco. There's Braswell. D. Francisco must have had an issue there on the racetrack. Still in a good spot. He's got some points to give away here. Ryder D can go 7-1-2 and still win this thing. Braswell has 14 points, and D. Francisco will have 10. So on this Lucas Oil, I believe, last lap, It's lap number 9. Caden Braswell going across the starting line, Megawatt, and we just missed it.
Yeah, I saw Ryder looking over across the track as he came through here in the short shoot, or the final
Probably
straight
wanting
here.
to size up where he's at.
Exactly. Saw him glance over, so something obviously happened. He knows what he has to do, and
So through the mechanics area, we go with Braswell on the 22 KTM looking for a moto win. Caden Braswell, look at that, 10, 2, and now 1 moto scores. Braswell wants to finish off. I always like that. Even if you had a rough week, just to go away with a whole shot or a moto win can make that drive home with your dad
let me tell you something.
a lot better.
Everybody's going to forget about that 10 because of that 1 right
Absolutely.
there.
A moto win is strong.
Nobody going to think about that 10 at all because
That's
you
correct.
won a moto at Loretta's.
No doubt. No doubt. Braswell now 3 seconds out front of Ryder DeFrancisco here on this Lucas Oil last lap. Wyatt Matson 3rd, Preston Base-Fluke 4th, Gavin Towers 5th, Benjamin Garib 6th, Kyle Smith 7th, Miles Gilmore 8th, 9th that is. Matt Jorgensen rounds out your top 10. So Ryder D with that 2:10, that tells you had something happen on that lap. He's been running sub 2:05s for the better part of this race. But Braswell, he'll take it.
Ask those guys in the truck if they could find anything on the number 99 machine. Maybe a tip over, might have just simply run off the track and had to get back on.
Right.
But had a sizable lead for that to be the case, you know.
Yeah, well, he came across the lap before 8/100ths of a second ahead. That was it. He was very close, and then he comes back now 3 seconds behind, so I'm not sure what really happened there.
Yeah,
maybe Rodney can figure that out. Ask them on the podium. I don't think he's going to be stressing too much. He knows championships take 3 motos. You can drop a point here and there. He'll have 10 points now. Braswell will have 13 along with Base-Fluke. So with that pass, Braswell has leapfrog Base-Fluke and breaks the tie with a moto win. So good for Caden Braswell.
Oh, yeah, sure. Not only did he put himself in that position, but with that win, going to assure himself the tiebreaker. So guess what? Belongs to him, that's for sure.
So the checker flag flies. The number 22 of Caden Braswell gets the moto win. Ryder DeFrancisco wins the war. You'll win the battle. Is that how that works? The war or the battle? Which one's more important? I always get that confused.
Yeah.
You can win a
battle for the war.
Right, there you go.
Yeah.
We'll make sure. So there goes Rodney Tomlin.
For the war.
Well, as Rodney heads down to the tower. The Tower of Power. There's a look at your top 5. Braswell, DeFrancisco, Base-Fluke, Matson, and Towers on down to finish up your Dunlop top 10. Garib, Smith, Jordan Beast, Adler, Caudle, and Trevor Collop round out your top 10. Look at all the different states represented. I love seeing that, man. It's East Coast, West Coast, the South, the Northeast. Very cool. Rodney Tomlin going to get things set up. 7-1-2 moto scores. Good enough for the championship. Number 99, Ryder DeFrancisco. And Preston Base-Fluke working some magic there as he goes 5, 4, and 3. 1 point better than your 3rd place overall of Caden Braswell, who goes 10, 2, and 1. So
yeah, Preston rode good all week at 5.43. Had a mistake there in Moto 1. I think just simply ran off the track, if I remember correctly, was right up in the mix, had a podium position, and allowed a couple riders to get by. And sure enough, not able to make it up by the end, but a great week for Preston, no doubt about it. That guy rode hard all week long. Gavin Towers able to get a 4th place overall as well, making the big trip down from PA. Rode hard, look at that, a 4.55, so inside the top 5 every round. So awesome, great job, and congratulations, Kyle Smith, rounding out the top 5 with a 2.67.
And Nicholas Romano almost finds himself inside the top 10. He climbs back to 25th, 11-3, 25 scores, and we will get ready to send it down to Rodney Tomlin.
All right. Yeah, we're looking for Caden Braswell so we can get him up here and congratulate him on his Moto Gold here. And, of course, here he comes. Big smile on his face. And, wow, what a way to put it together, ladies and gentlemen. Puts her hands together for our 3rd Moto winner, Caden Braswell. Wow. Caden, I'll tell you, man, it's pretty spectacular, no doubt, to come down here to Loretta Lynn's and to go out and see things turn around for you the way they did. A 10, I think it was, in that first moto, and then you just started picking them off and finally got that gold, man.
Yes, sir. I mean, working my butt off all summer coming here.
You worked your butt off in that moto. Tell me how you got that one done.
I came out of the gate pretty good, and then there were some braking bumps coming out, and just kind of lost traction finally got behind Ryder, and then I just tried to stick on him, and then he finally made a couple mistakes, and I got around him.
Well, congratulations on that and getting this moto win, buddy. Who do you want to say thanks to?
I'd like to give it up to the Lord up above. I mean, couldn't do it without him. My mom and dad, KTM, FMF, Henson, Oakley, Mika Metals, Vertex, Alpine Star, Troy Lee Designs, Backyard Graphics, Dunlop Tires. They're hooking up all around. You know, we got that MX-11 on. It's just sweet, and we couldn't do it without that Lynx motor just pulling this thing, you know. Then I'd like to give a big shout out to my little brother. You know, he's going to be coming here in a few years to race, so passing it on.
Oh, I love it. Caden Braswell, ladies and gentlemen, taking Moto Gold here at Loretta Lynn's in your mini senior 1 to 12 to 13-year-old class. And coming up, we're going to bring our third place finisher here in the Moto, I believe, Wyatt Matson. You make your way on over here, buddy. We'll reset the podium with our championship bike in Rider D. And Wyatt Matson making his way up to the podium here, our third place finisher. Oh, Preston got third. Did that change on us there at the last moment, guys? All right, if that's the case, I apologize. Let's bring Preston up then if that's the case. Man, a lot of things shaking down in those last and closing moments. Come on up. All right, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Preston Base Plug. Getting that Moto bronze, buddy. I'll tell you what, I was calling for Wyatt to get up here. Last I checked on my way over, things were a little different, but you decided you wanted to make things different there in those closing laps. Tell me about this one, man.
Yeah, I got up to about a third-place start, and Wyatt got around me on the first lap. I just trying to hold a pace and work. He got tired, and I just kind of cruised and passed him in the back.
Feels good, huh?
Feels awesome.
Great, man. Who do you want to say thanks to?
My mom, my dad, Fox Racing, Golden Tire, KTM, Fusion Graphics, Flow, Power Band, Lynx Racing, ODI, Sunstar, Breaking Brakes, my mechanic Kyle, and his family coming out to watch me, and my grandma, and I think that's about it.
All righty, ladies and gentlemen, he takes home the bronze here in the mini senior 1 class. He's Preston Base Plug. Congratulations as we bring up to the podium next. He is silver in the Moto. He goes 7-1-2 for the mini senior 1 national championship as we welcome to the stage Rider D Francesco. All right, Ryder, let's get that silver on there, man. I tell you what, coming into this one after that 7th place finish in Moto number 1, you knew all you could do was go out there and do what you knew how to do and was ride. So take us through this championship and how it all came down for you this week, bud.
Oh, yeah, first moto, I went down twice. Thought it was over. Had no pressure the second moto, went out there and won, and came out this third moto. I threw up all last night and all morning, so didn't think I was going to make it, but got off to a good start. My Dunlop tires hooking up well. Just rode my race. Knew Braswell was going pretty good behind me, and kind of went him by and just rode a smart race after that.
Yep.
Got the championship.
There you go. It was a smart race. Now, were you ill last night, or were you just that nervous?
I was ill. I think I got some food poisoning, but yeah.
It didn't stop you from being freaky fast today, that's for sure. There's a Bell Helmets $100 Hole Shot Award. He also picks up silver for the Moto, and as well, he picks up the big shield, the one that he's been looking for, and the overall championship. There that is. And we've got one more order of business here for you, young man, as we bring to the podium the part that makes it all special for you, Mr. Ricky Rickard, as he brings to you the AMA National Number 1 plate. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you your AMA Mini Senior 1 12 to 13 National Champion.